The NBA regular season is winding down, and bettors are definitely eyeing value in the futures markets as we near the postseason. So let's look at some good value future NBA bets, and we will discuss this with my guy, Bryan Fonseca. He's a contributor to the Action Network. Bryan, we are close, as I said, to the end of the NBA season. How excited are you about making some last-minute future bets?
I mean, if they pan out, sure. You know what I mean? But now we're at the point of the season where I hate spreads because guys are sitting, which we're going to get to in a second. And you don't know who's going to be out there from a night-to-night basis. But, you know, if guys actually suit up, handle their business, and play, maybe we'll make some money before the end of the season.
Maybe we can. We're going to talk about some future bets with the National Basketball Association here. And Bryan, one of the things that some bettors are looking at right now are odds to make the play-in tournament. There still are some teams in both conferences with great value to do so. So what are some teams that you would like to throw some dollars down on to make the play-in?
Well, in the East, because in the East, we kind of know, like, it's a little boring. You know, the Hawks are going to be in the play-in. You know, the Heat are probably going to be in the play-in. Washington has pretty good odds at being in the play-in as well. Chicago's there, and Toronto is somebody who's like a shoo-in. But between Toronto, Atlanta, and Miami, you have three spots that are going to be taken care of unless the Nets end up falling and the Heat end up passing them, which, given the Heat's inconsistencies, I don't really see happening. But as it pertains to value, just strictly value, the Pacers at plus 500 is pretty interesting because even though they've been very bad lately, losing to Detroit, 10 of their last 20, they only won 10 of their last 30 games, and Ben Mathurin and Tyrese Halliburton have been out for the last couple of nights. But they are due to come back soon. We don't know when. They're questionable day-to-day, those kind of things. And then with Golden State in the Western Conference, that's who I'm really looking at to fall. As we're speaking, they just lost to the Los Angeles Clippers last night. And they're a team who has a lot of road games left. 7 of their last 12 are going to be on the road. They're awful on the road. I think they still have 7 road wins this year, which is one of the worst in the NBA. And ultimately, I think with the Golden State Warriors, there's some value there. There's still a plus odds to make the play in because, you know, there will have to be some work to be done. Is Minnesota going to be the team that jumps up? Is Dallas? They're struggling with injuries right now to Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, although the Luka Doncic one matters way more, in my opinion. But you really need a team to sort of jump up in order to make that happen. But the Warriors have just enough road games and a tough enough schedule. It's not super difficult, but a tough enough schedule. And they're inconsistent enough to where I could talk myself into, hey, plus 145, plus 150 at the Warriors sliding into the play-in. That's something that makes sense.
All right, there you go. Pacers in the East, Warriors in the West, teams to keep their eye on in terms of betting on them to make the play-in. And let's talk about betting on the league MVP, because I was just talking about this with my producer, Chris. It looked like Nikola Jokic's award to lose, but the Nuggets have been sliding a bit lately. Is it a good bet to maybe bet on Joel Embiid or Giannis Antetokounmpo here to win MVP?
Joel Embiid specifically. Look, he had 47 against Nikola Jokic on January 28th. I went back and looked. About 30 of them were actually on Nikola Jokic. 7 were free throws, so you take that out. So basically all but 10 of his points throughout the course of play were on Nikola Jokic. And Nikola Jokic defensively, like, people will try to pull up metrics, defensive box plus minus and things of that nature. He's not a good defender. He's probably okay. I would say he's okay. He's not always awful, as some clips have seen, like the one that went viral recently for his defensive effort or lack thereof against the Spurs. But Joel Embiid is averaging, I mean, I know these are counting stats, nerds, but he's averaging 33, 10, and 4. He's having a great season. They actually have a better record, the Philadelphia 76ers, that is. They actually have a better record than the Denver Nuggets right now at this point of the year. The Western Conference is weak. In fact, if you take the 5, 6, and 7 seeds in the Eastern Conference, they have a better record than all but 4 teams in the West. So the Knicks, Nets, and Heat would all be 4th or 5th in the West right now. They would all be like right there, better records than some of the teams that we've been talking about all year, like the Clippers and the Warriors. And Joel Embiid is just a better two-way player, period. Like, you could pull up all the advanced metrics for either guy and you can make your case on either side or whatever the case may be. But for me, I put a lot of emphasis on Joel Embiid, went in there, gave him buckets, and made him look like a fool on the defensive end. And they have a rematch coming up, and I have that circled on my calendar. It's something I'm going to sit and watch and dissect, because Joel Embiid, and the MVP race is starting to teeter in his favor because Denver struggled as of late. And I think Philadelphia, they're gaining steam. Like, not only are they just a game behind Boston for the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference, they're also tied in the loss column. And they could really actually overtake that seed and get the 2nd seed. So I think with Joel Embiid, he has a real shot at being the MVP, especially because I feel good about him giving Nikola Jokic that work again. And I know that we're in a league now where one-on-one play is not something we encourage and everybody's switching and best players don't guard each other, but they're going to have to match up against each other as centers. So I'm going to take a Joel Embiid to win that MVP flyer, no doubt.
All right, there you go. Take that flyer on Joel Embiid to win the MVP. As you said, Brian, those two have another matchup coming up really soon that should be interesting. That is Bryan Fonseca of the Action Network talking about some of the best NBA future bets you can make with the season winding down. Brian, appreciate it, man. Talk to you soon.
Anytime. Thanks as always.